Dark psychology is often regarded as a mysterious and intricate field, with many considering it beyond their comprehension. However, the reality is that it's not as complicated as it may seem. In fact, the manipulation techniques I'm going to share with you are likely being used on you regularly, sometimes without you even realizing it. Understanding dark psychology isn't just about using these tactics to manipulate others. It's just as crucial to learn these techniques because others often use them to influence and control you. Some of the methods shared in this video may be unethical, so they should be applied with caution and responsibility. 1. Social proof. The first technique is social proof. Let me explain this with an example from my own life. Back in 2016, I went to a store with the intention of purchasing a specific smartphone. I had already made up my mind at home that this particular phone was the one I wanted to buy. But when I got to the store, it wasn't available. However, the salesman knew how to use dark psychology. He showed me a different phone and said, "This is the best phone available right now. The one you were looking for is a bit outdated. If you spend just a little more, you can get this one instead." To make his point stronger, he pulled the same phone out of his pocket and said, "This is the one I'm using." Here was a knowledgeable salesperson working in a big store, using this phone in front of me, making it seem like a valuable purchase. Even though the phone wasn't particularly great, I ended up buying it. This was an example of social proof in action. When we see that others like something, we're more likely to like it as well. Whether it's a style of jeans, a song, or even a movie, social proof plays a huge role. Marketing companies exploit this concept to create the illusion that a product is widely popular. For instance, we might decide to watch a movie after seeing glowing reviews, even if the movie itself doesn't live up to the hype. 2. Influence. The second technique is called influence. In influence. The Psychology of Persuasion, Robert Cialdini explains that when we feel uncertain about something, we tend to look to others, especially people we admire, celebrities, friends, or influencers on social media, for guidance. This influence shapes our decisions. For example, if you give 100 rupees to your 10 friends and praise them in front of someone you're trying to impress, like a crush, it could leave a favorable impression on them. This is why toothpaste commercials often feature testimonials from mothers and dentists, trusted figures who influence consumer choices. 3. Love bombing. The third dark psychology technique is love bombing. This is commonly used in romantic relationships, but can also be effective in friendships, family dynamics, or even on social media. Love bombing involves overwhelming someone with excessive affection and attention to create a strong emotional bond. The manipulator showers the target with love and makes them feel valued and special. Once the target becomes emotionally attached, the manipulator begins to withdraw the affection. This sudden change creates stress in the target, who now feels desperate to regain the affection. In this vulnerable state, they are more likely to accept unethical demands or behavior, becoming a victim of manipulation. 4th reason. The fourth technique is reason. This is a simple but highly effective method of persuasion. It involves providing a logical reason to convince the target to do something that benefits the manipulator. For example, imagine there are two homeless people asking for money. One simply asks for money, while the other explains, "I'm starving and haven't eaten in a day. I really need the money to buy food." Most people are more likely to give to the second person because they've been given a reason for the request. Similarly, a manipulator who wants to recruit someone for a criminal activity, such as robbing a bank, might offer a strong reason, saying it will solve their financial problems and ensure they won't get caught. The logic sounds convincing enough to manipulate someone into making a poor decision, which can lead them down a criminal path. 5. Self-abasement. Self-abasement is the fifth technique. This is a manipulation tactic where the manipulator lowers their own self-esteem or insults themselves to achieve a desired outcome. It's closely tied to reverse psychology. For instance, if your partner is upset with you and you don't have the power to convince them, you might say, "I'm terrible at relationships. No one can be a bigger fool than me." This self-deprecation can prompt the other person to offer sympathy, making them feel compelled to reassure you. In relationships especially, this tactic can lead to compliments and validation, which benefits the manipulator. Sixth manipulation tactic is going slightly wrong. This is a subtle psychological strategy that goes unnoticed but is incredibly effective. A skilled manipulator will introduce a small inaccuracy in a conversation, doing so with complete confidence. In doing so, they encourage the other person to correct the mistake, which can then lead to the manipulator acquiring valuable information. For example, imagine a neighbor wants to know how their child did in school. They might casually say, "I heard Anjali topped her class," and leave it at that. This prompts the other person to correct them, revealing how well Anjali actually did, how many marks she scored, and perhaps other details the neighbor might not have known. This technique works because it subtly encourages others to provide more information than they initially intended. To use this method, all you need to do is make a slightly inaccurate statement, ensuring it's subtle enough that the other person doesn't catch it right away. This allows you to gain insights into their thoughts and secrets. Conclusion. These are just a few examples of dark psychology techniques that you can learn and apply. By recognizing these tactics, you can protect yourself from being manipulated. There are also other methods like gaslighting, mind games, and emotional manipulation, which are covered in more detail in Part 1 of this series. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and let me know if you'd like to see more content from Psychology Hub. Should we dive deeper into these techniques in another part? Stay tuned for more insights, and I'll see you in the next video.